thought I'd show you a range of work that I've been doing recently. This one is what you'd call a traditional watercolour. What I like about it is the freshness and the spontaneity, and yet you'll see I'm putting on some really intense colour, and it's creating this drama. I love these little rocky beaches in Galloway, and this one was done in Galloway with this lovely little island in the distance. But I'm very pleased with this because it's a minimal amount of colour, a restricted palette, but very fresh. But what I wanted to say was I work very differently. Some of my work done again down on the beach is much more surreal in its colour. The structure is quite representational, the composition. I love rocks, and I seem to really hone in on angles, and I love the angularity of the rocks. But you'll also see that I'm looking for something a bit surreal. You know, these colours are not realistic. It's not finished. I thought I'd show you some work that's unfinished so you can see, maybe get an idea of how I work. So I'm liking this eerie viridian green. Yes, something dramatic about this. And then I like these areas of black. And I also like this. I've got a texture here. I'm using Arches paper. It's got a lovely texture. And with certain watercolour, you can achieve more granulation where the watercolour sinks into the crevices of the paper. And it does that really well on this Arches rough paper. But what I also thought I'd show you is something that I work indoors. In the studio, I sometimes start and I'm just thinking about the islands, and in the Scottish Islands, the Hebrides, or these rocks and sea and sky. And I start by possibly, sometimes I throw on the watercolour, quite pale, and then bring over another layer, like a mid layer, and then I might draw into it, and then I might come in with a bit of gouache. I've got gouache in here. There's something about this I'm liking. I've got a suggestion of light coming down. This is the sky, and a sort of rock or an island, and this will be another suggestion of a rock, and another rock here, suggestion of a cloud, and this is the water, and more rocks here. But what I find quite intriguing is I can start and it can change totally. By the time I'm finished, you wouldn't recognise it. But this is at a mid-stage. There's things I like and want to retain, like the lovely transparent quality of the watercolour here. And yet I like to draw into the work. I think that's because I drew a great deal when I was younger. I didn't used to paint at all, I just drew. And now I'm in a phase where I painted a lot with watercolour, and now the drawing is coming back into it again.